Using a strengths-based executive functioning approach is the fast pass to building your child's executive functioning skills. If you've been trying to get your child unstuck, if you're looking for resources on how to build their executive functioning skills, if you've tried a bunch of things and haven't seen any progress, and maybe not only haven't seen any progress, but things may have gotten worse in the department of organizing, task initiation, flexibility, emotional control, well, I have the resources for you. Hold on. Before you go any further, let me remind you that figuring out your child's executive functioning strengths is the secret to unlocking this giant executive functioning skills puzzle, and that's what we're going to dive into right now. Before I dive into the 3 benefits of using a strengths-based executive functioning approach, let's backtrack a little bit and let's talk about executive functioning skills. Executive functioning skills are a set of cognitive skills that help you become independent at life and at learning. I'm going to translate that for you. Basically, it's what your brain does to help you get from point A to point Z and get things done. Without executive functioning skills, we really struggle navigating life and navigating learning. Executive functioning skills start as early as 6 months and they develop all the way through mid-20s. So when I say develop, I say it in a way that I want it to catch your attention, because so many times we forget that because these skills develop from 6 months through mid-20s, that's amazing, because that means there's so many things we can do in between to really make sure that that executive functioning profile is really beneficial for each individual child. And there's so many things we can do, and they're not that complicated, and they can be embedded into your everyday activities. Side note, after I share the benefits of an executive functioning strength-based approach, at the very end of this video, I'm going to share 3 ways that we can be very strategic and specific on developing your students or middle school, high school age students' executive functioning skills in a way that's strategic and purposeful. The first thing that really helps is figure out your child's executive functioning profile. There are 11 executive functioning skills. Figure out what your child is good at and what your child is struggling with. That's really going to help navigate this executive functioning skill building for you. If your child is stuck, it's likely that executive functioning skills are to blame. Actually, let's reframe that. If your child is stuck at school, at life, at home, it's likely, here's where we're reframing it, that executive functioning skill building can be your solution. The top benefit that I see once kids know their executive functioning profile, so they know what skills they're good at and they know what skills they're struggling with, is that they have hope that they can do better. So many times these kids are labeled by the community and actually themselves as lazy, as I'm constantly failing. It doesn't matter how hard I try, I always mess up, right? So now once they have a name for the area they're messing up with, now it can look more like, my organization totally stinks. That's why I'm always losing things. My time awareness is pretty bad, which is why I'm always struggling to show up on time and turn things in on time. My goal-directed persistence is missing in action. And that's why it's so hard for me to work when we have to do projects that are, weeks in advance. So what I like about this is that we automatically switch from labeling themselves and labeling the child as lazy, a mess, a disaster, super disorganized, sloppy, because as a professional, I cannot help, or I can't even work with lazy, right? But I can strategically help and make huge impacts with weak time awareness, with weak organization, with weak flexibility. Boom. And I can also share with you, the parents, and if you're a teacher watching this, a plan. So you see how this shift from I totally stink to this part of wonderful me is needs improvements. So looking at the specific skills really helps us be able to come up with better resources. And if nothing else, if it can change the perspective of a child from I stink to, oh, wow, that's why I forget everything, because my working memory is off, or my organization is really bad. If it can change that perspective, that is we already won, because then all of a sudden the kids are feeling hope and they're feeling like they're in control and they're just not in an uphill battle. Now, the action plan from here is I want you to go ahead and learn about the 11 executive functioning skills and figure out where your child is in them. We still have 2 more to go, but there is, at the end of this video, a download that you can get that has all of this broken down for you, all 11 executive functioning skills. Okay, second part. Once you have the profile on your child, I want you to put on blinders. These blinders, I call them success blinders. Once you know what your child is good at, I want you to catch them doing that. If they have a great memory, I love how you remembered that. Well, you couldn't find your homework, but you remembered that you had your homework. That's half the battle, buddy. Hey, can you help me remember this? Pull their strengths into your everyday life so that they can really see the value that those characteristics have for them. Remember, our human brains are wired to look for the bad, right? That's what kept us alive when there was a fire, when the bears were chasing us. Look out for the danger. So we a lot of times miss the good. So that's why this exercise and looking for the strengths is very important for us to build that foundation, to build executive functioning skills. So your action plan for this part is I want you to keep a running list and catch your child doing what they're good at. Simple, but powerful. Number 3 is I want you to match the support that you are going to find for your child to this profile. This profile, y'all, becomes your roadmap to what your child needs to work on, to what they need to keep doing better at. So I want you to match, if they're weak in time awareness, I want you to match the support for time awareness so that it can be a win. And I know that sounds like counterproductive. Like if they're not good at time awareness, how am I gonna figure out a win in there? You will. You want to make it short, you want to make it quick, and you want to make it something that you know they're going to succeed at so they can start building in their area of weakness. Remember, this is a strengths-based approach to executive functioning skills. The second part of this is I want you to get as much support as you can to build these areas that they're struggling with. Remember, at the end, I'm going to give you a specific 3-step how to get support for your child. So your action step for this are, once again, learn all you can about the executive functioning skills. And there's a lot out there, right? But remember that I've made it super easy for you. And I have an executive functioning guide that has all 11 skills broken down, very simple, what it looks like when it works and what it looks like when it doesn't work so good. So go ahead and grab that, and that's gonna help you solidify all of this plan that we've talked about. And here's exactly how I want you to use that guide. I want you first, once you get it, I want you to read the guide. Then I want you to read it again, and I want you to look for 3 areas that that you can see these traits in your child, that he does them easily, right? And put a +3. Then I want you to read it for the 3rd time, looking for those areas where your child is really struggling to put it together, and put a little minus sign. And that's how you're gonna look for the strengths and the weaknesses, okay? And that's gonna be your roadmap to really helping your child figure this out. And here's the bonus I promised you guys, I didn't forget. These are 3 ways that you can really provide support to build your child's executive functioning skills. So everything we've talked about right now, learn your child's executive function profile, build up the strengths as much as you can and as often as you can, because these kids that struggle with executive functioning skills, you guys, they really need those wins. And I'm telling you, those wins create more success. Second thing is you can look for some kind of coaching for yourself, or where you read information and then you can start applying. Remember, you have the roadmap from your profile. You can start applying some of these strategies to where your child is struggling. If you're lucky enough to find a parent coaching group, you want to look for one that has accountability, that has education, and can really tailor things for your child, okay? The last one is direct coaching with your child. And you usually see this in two ways. It's either group coaching or one-on-one. But what I'm going to share with you is what I want you to look for. I want you to look for a program that meets you and your child where they're at. I don't want you guys to have to jump through hoops to meet these levels that they have. I also want you to find a program that has that tells you guys how to do it, right? A lot of times we know what to do, but we don't know exactly how. We want to proven step by step how to get it done so we succeed, because that's why we're looking for coaching, because we want to succeed. And then the third part of that coaching program that I want you to look for is accountability. Just right accountability. Not these big audacious goals, but mini goals and mini check-ins. So right now, I want you to go ahead and download your executive functioning guide. If you want more information on parent coaching, on coaching for your child, I can help you with that. So go ahead and look up at my website, or you can set up a call with me. And you already have the executive functioning foundations guide, which is going to help you look at your child's strengths and weaknesses. I can't wait for you guys to get this into your hands, and I can't wait to see the changes, and more importantly, the hope that you and your child are going to have that these executive functioning skills are not going to hold you back. And you guys are going to do great, and they're going to blossom into the beautiful person that they were created to be.